What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Kai Rose back at you with another video, and we're gonna be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender and how this is an important TV series for the new generation. I feel like this needs to be talked about, and with the writers doing an amazing job at creating a world full of characters that interact with each other, that connect to with each other, and tries to find themselves within this wonderful journey that is Avatar. I feel like this is important because without that, we need good TV shows and we need connections and we need to understand what makes a good TV show. Just what makes a good TV show and what makes it entertaining. We have all these other TV shows that doesn't even matter now. That is literally not important, like Bad Girls Club and all this other crap that doesn't even make any sense. Why not have a good TV show? That's my point. And as we go through this, I want you to just take that in mind, that this series is one of the best Nickelodeon series of all time. In fact, it's the best, period. So with that being said, let's get through this. Let's talk about it. And without further ado, let me introduce Avatar: The Last Airbender. The first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender shows an epic opening that portrays all of the four elements being done by four different characters in silhouette. This scene is then transitioned to multitudes of lands, which is the representation of the world of Avatar. These lands contain the following nations: Earth, Water, Fire, and Air. You will then see the world of the water nations being revealed in the world of Avatar, which is nothing but water and glacier. This is after the first opening of Avatar, and then you see a boat which consists of two of the main characters that you will see throughout the story. The first character being introduced is Sokka, who is one of my personal favorites of the series because he is rather a mischievous child who doesn't really understand leadership, but he wants to know how to be a leader. His character is very relatable in the sense that a lot of people want to in that age. They want to be the leader of a lot of group projects or whatever you wanted to do as a kid, but you can't really do it because you're really temperamental or you're not really smart enough for certain things. So you tend to shout out or be kind of obnoxious. That's kind of Sokka's character throughout the series. And with Katara is one of the characters who is the smartest. She's one of the smartest characters in the series, and she tends to get angry at Sokka, who is her brother, and she's usually temperamental throughout the series. I can't really say much for her character because her character is kind of basic. It starts when you start going through the story of Avatar in season 3, she does develop exponentially, in my opinion, and I really do like her character development in the third season, but we'll get to that later. But for right now, she's really an impressionable character that needs a lot of love from the writers for her to really push her, be propelled into the series as the character that she was in season 3. And in season 1, she's just basic, and I don't really hate her. She can get annoying, but I don't hate her for now. After being introduced by these characters, you would then see an iceberg, which after a while, Sokka was messing with Katara, and basically what happened, Sokka got annoyed by Katara and her water bending, and then Katara got pissed off. When she got pissed off, there was an iceberg that seemingly cracked because she was angry and she was using a lot of her uncontrollable water bending. And yes, she is a waterbender throughout the series. And when she was getting angry, the iceberg was cracked, but it wasn't cracked because of her. It was cracked because of the avatar, which was in the iceberg. And you soon see Avatar Aang, which is an impressionable boy who is 12 years old, with his pet Appa, who is an enormous bison, an animal in the series that you will sooner love. So Avatar Aang is then shown as a boy who is not really mature, but he is extremely smart at the same time. He's extremely exceptional in his prowess of airbending, and he knows a lot of things. And as the Avatar, he can also learn all of the other three elements, which is fire, earth, and water. So with that being said, he is the Avatar, and he is the one that will soon save the world. When Aang emerged from the iceberg, you would then see him emitting a lot of astral energy or cosmic energy into the air, which is like a beam in the sky. This beam is then signaled by the Fire Nation, which was on a boat. One of the Fire Nation members were Zuko and Iroh. Zuko is one of the main antagonists of the series, while Iroh is not really an antagonist. I would say he is an important secondary character. So with Zuko's character throughout the series, he was more or less a very vengeful, I want to say really vengeful, but he is more of a brash and very hot-headed leader of his crew. Since he is the prince of the Fire Nation, his goal is to capture the Avatar after certain events with his father, since he was already banished from the Fire Nation. And we'll soon get to that later, but basically right now, in episode 1, Zuko is very brash and very hot-headed, very temperamental, and not willing to listen to his uncle, who is a very exceptional firebender. So we will get to his uncle later as well. So to wrap things up, basically what happens afterwards with everything that transpired with the Avatar being awakened, with Zuko learning of the Avatar's location temporarily, Avatar Aang, Katara, and Sokka is grouped up, and what they do for Avatar Aang is they basically took him to their tribe, and while they was having a time with each other, trying to get to know each other, and while Zuko is getting frustrated with the fact that he doesn't really know a lot of since he's still young, he doesn't know a lot of the firebending moves just yet, versus later on, then ultimately he just got angry of his uncle because his uncle was unwilling to teach him more of the firebending moves that he needed to know in order to beat the Avatar and to capture him. So with that being said, his uncle reluctantly agreed, but with his uncle Iroh is literally one of the funnier characters in the series, so he just brushed it off as he says, he wanted to get some tea, and Zuko was just like, damn. But yeah, that's basically what happened. And as we wrap things up, I do apologize for not really getting into depth with the episode 1. This is going to be a really, really quick review, because since this is the first episode of the series, I want to get this out of the way so I can get into episode 2 and episode 3 more. Now, after the events of episode 1, you then get to see Avatar Aang and Katara going into the Fire Nation ship, which is in episode 1. And when they're in the Fire Nation ship, this is an abandoned Fire Nation ship. And what happened was, when they got into it, they wanted to check out what was in the ship, obviously. But what happened was, there was a lot of traps in the ship that Katara told Aang to be wary about. And Aang told her that, basically you can't be afraid when being a bender. In other words, let's go into the damn ship, even though the ship is probably booby-trapped. And which it was booby-trapped, and when Aang got hit by one of the tripwires, it signaled the Fire Nation, which Zuko was already nearby, and his crew was already nearby. And they know exactly where Avatar Aang was at, because obviously that's their ship, and they already saw Aang in the iceberg, or they saw the beam of light in the sky when Aang got emerged from the iceberg. So when Aang and Katara was in the ship, they left immediately, gone back to the tribe, and what happened was Aang was casted out because of the fact that obviously he was the one that enticed Katara to be in that ship, and he was the one that caused the Fire Nation to know exactly where they was at and exactly where the tribe lived, Sokka and Katara's. So he left eventually, and with Sokka and Katara, they needed to get ready for the Fire Nation. And with that being said, Aang realized that when they did come, he did realize that they was in jeopardy. So he did come back and he did try to save them by putting himself into custody, since they only want the Avatar. And with that being said, Katara and Sokka wanted to save Aang for doing what he did for them and for being a hero. And with their grandmother being skeptical of Aang, they put hope back into their grandmother based on the fact that this is truly the Avatar. She did not believe at first that he was the Avatar from episode 1. And now, with the fact that he is the Avatar, that he is the one that will save the world, she is like, okay, I get it. We got to save him. And basically, that's the end of episode 2. But, oh yeah, also, when Aang was on the ship with Zuko and his crew, Zuko then took Aang's glider and put it in his headquarters so that he doesn't get away. So when Aang found out that it was in his headquarters, he then fought the crew and went to the headquarters, then fought Zuko, who was already waiting for Aang, and took the glider and knocked Zuko out temporarily. He then ran away so that he can fly from the ship. And when he tries to fly, Zuko then got up immediately and he dragged him straight down from the air, brought him back down to the ship and attacked him relentlessly. Aang realizes that Appa came to save him, as well as Katara and Sokka. He was knocked into the water, the cold waters of the Water Nation, and he was eventually going to freeze to death. But fortunately, Katara saved him by calling out his name. When Aang went into the Avatar state, he then attacked the entire ship because the Avatar state is an extremely powerful state. So he attacked the ship, he attacked Zuko, and everybody on the ship, wrecked the ship, went back onto Appa, and that is the end of episode 2. Continuing to the events of episode 3, Aang and his crew then decides to go to the Southern Air Temple. The Southern Air Temple was a sanctuary made for his people, the Airbender tribe. And for Avatar Aang, that was the last place he saw Monkey Yasu, which was his teacher and all of his friends and his teachers other than Monkey Yasu. So he decided to go to the Southern Air Temple. And during this, Zuko and Iroh, after Aang destroyed their ship, they needed to find a place to dock the ship so they can have it repaired. And lo and behold, when they docked the ship, they had to go to Commander Zhao, which is the new character for Avatar, the new antagonist. And Commander Zhao is basically wanting to question Zuko, why was the ship destroyed? And he wanted to talk to Iroh and Zuko at like some type of meeting or something like that. And when he was talking to them, Zuko didn't want to share any information, but he knew that Commander Zhao wanted to figure out what happened to the ship and why was it so damaged. I personally do not like Commander Zhao in the series, and I think they meant to do that for a reason. Commander Zhao is the antagonist of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and he is at least one of the antagonists, and he's just an unlikable character. But when you compare Commander Zhao and Zuko, you can tell the difference between the two. Like, Zuko's character is supposed to be more of a, you don't really get into it just yet, but you will soon figure out that with Zuko, he's more in depth than Commander Zhao. And Commander Zhao is obviously just based on his like character design and everything, he's supposed to be a washed out character. He's not really important to the series. He doesn't really do much for the series. So I don't think that. I think Commander Zhao does do his part really well, and I do like the fact that with Commander Zhao, he is a character that is like he is the opposite of Zuko. He's supposed to be the competition to Zuko throughout the series, and you will soon see that with Commander Zhao, when he was talking to Iroh and Zuko about the ship, he sent out some spies to interrogate one of his crew members, and they basically spilled out that the Avatar is alive, and Zuko didn't want to tell him that because of the fact that he knew that with Commander Zhao, he would like try to capture the Avatar, and he didn't want any type of competition when it comes to capturing the Avatar. Unfortunately, Zhao figured it out, and with that being said, he tries to keep Zuko in custody while trying to capture the Avatar. When Aang, Sokka, and Katara try to fly to the Southern Air Temple, they notice that the Southern Air Temple is deserted and everything is gone. Everybody is vacant and there's nothing there basically after 100 years of Aang being encased in the iceberg. And Aang, who had hope, he tries to find the locations of like any type of remnants of his people. So he went to the Avatar. It's like it's almost like a mummified type of tomb where the avatars, all of the past avatars, lied. So he went there, unlocked the door. He went there and saw that Avatar Roku, who was his most previous avatar that he connected to for a brief moment, and he saw a lemur, tries to chase the lemur with Sokka, and when they almost caught the lemur, they went to this place where all of the airbenders died. And when Aang saw this, he immediately was upset. He saw Monk Yasu, who was his most favorite teacher, that died in the raid of the Fire Nation. So he realized this is what happened to his people. He was upset and he got pissed off, went into the Avatar state once again. Now, Katara calmed him down and told him that everything will be okay. So with that being said, that's the conclusion of episode 2, with Avatar calming down, realizing that his people are gone. His people, there's no one left but him. So with episode 1 to 3, I think that these are the great starting points of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think that this is one of the like greatest footholds that you would need in order to be interjected into the world of Avatar. This is one of the most outstanding episodes, and I love the startup. I love the fact that Aang was like, he didn't know nothing about the world. It's almost like a new world to him. And with Katara and Sokka, they try to help him be sped up to the times that he's in now. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know who, like what the Fire Nation was, Zuko, anything like that. So now he is trying to grasp his mind around this thing, around the world. And I'm surprised. I loved the episode. It's amazing. Episode 1 was amazing. Episode 2 was also amazing because of the fact that Aang is trying to learn more. He's still trying to understand what's going on. And with the fact that Fire Nation was attacking the Water Tribe, you see the hero inside Aang. And with that being said, Aang is just an incredible character, as well as Sokka. I love Sokka's character. Like I said before, Sokka is an amazing character. I love the way that he's just a teenager that just does not understand what it is to be a true leader just yet. And with Katara, I love, like I said before, I still like Katara, but at the same time, it's just a lot of her character needs a lot of like to be fleshed out more. She's more of a, I wouldn't say a flat character arc, but I would say that she's more of, the middle ground for now. Zuko is going to be explored later on, and Iroh, we're going to definitely explore Iroh because Iroh is an incredible character in the series as well. So with episode 3, in conclusion with that, I love episode 3 as well. Like I said, I love all 3 episodes. And Avatar Aang going into the Avatar state again after realizing that his people is gone is just really emotional. Like, I if my people was gone, I would just go crazy. So it's like you can relate to that. You can relate to the fact that he's pissed off. You can relate to the fact that he wants to know what happened to his people. He wants to know how. And the saddest thing is that he was in like he was so gullible in the fact that he doesn't know what happened to anyone. So he was really eager to meet his people, and he was just like, I need to see them. And Katara, she's just worried about him so much because she's afraid that he might do something that, or he might see something that he'll regret for, like that will scar him. And in conclusion, Avatar episode 1 to 3, I will give a 10 out of 10. Episode 1 a 10, 2 a 10, 3 a 10. I love all of it. The first 3 episodes are really a 10, and we're going to keep continuing with this from episode 4 to 6. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a great day.